hello everybody, and amazingly late start for us, but it was because we have a very, very, very special Yuletide gift for you. we've managed to persuade. No, truth, I think Angela was the one who did it from Fenix Flames. Have managed to persuade the amazing Janet Farrar and Gavin Bone to join us today. So I believe we have them on the line. So why don't we say hi? Hi guys, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Magickal Monday. How are you both?
Fried. Survived Yule. Now we're heading for Christmas. Fucking traffic jams today, but otherwise fine.
I
One
should
of those
point out.
weeks we had a friend who had a car accident and she's very elderly.
Oh, bless.
That's
I'm
hell.
so sorry to hear that. So sorry to hear that. I just apologise to folks. We've got quite a lag in the audio and video behind, so just bear with us, and we'll just keep we'll keep going. Oh, she's putting that in the notes as we
I've
speak.
got that all down.
All right then. So
And
we've got questions for you. You've got a new book coming out. New book, old book, reissue. I think. Tell us all about it.
Right, it's a reprint of a book that's been out for a little while called The Healing Craft. And it was the second book that I did with Janet and Stewart. So that's being put out by Fenix Flames Publishing, and that will be out pretty soon, certainly in the new year. It was just at the time there were no books really on healing and paganism. So with my background as a registered nurse, it seemed like a good idea to do one and to make it balanced. There's a lot of new age books out there which are a bit absolutely blunt, to be really fluffy and up there. And I wanted a really good grounded book on healing. So I worked with Janet and Stuart on that.
Apart from anything else, that's why it's called The Healing Craft. A lot of people, they see witchcraft as we go into a circle, we call down the watchtowers, we invoke the god and the goddess, and that's it. We do a little bit of healing. It shouldn't be that. Witchcraft was always about medicine and healing. And every witch should be trained in one part of the profession, whether it's herbalism, Reiki, counseling, working in a hospital, even if it's working as a cleaner in a hospital or working with old people. Working with your community. That's what the craft was always about. And somewhere down the line, that's been lost. Because what's happened is people have gone into the realm of ritual magic. That's not witchcraft. It's, it's fine if that's what you want, but it's not witchcraft.
True
That's coming
indeed.
out in the new year.
And we are told it's called what? It's
Healing
called
Craft.
The Healing Craft. And we did actually persuade Janet and Gavin to do some book plates for us. So if you happen to be watching, which we can see a whole bunch of people are, call the shop 845-255-5756 and pre-order your copy, and we will get you a signed book plate from these wonderful people here. So there.
So
All right.
numbered. They'll be numbered because they'll be the first ones of that edition sold in the US. So each plate will be.
Oh, awesome. The plates will be numbered.
Oh wow.
There's a big
Well,
ginger
thank you.
cat heading.
I love big ginger cats. They're perfectly okay. I think people would sooner watch
Come
cats
on.
than us, to be honest. So, okay.
Yes, our one's just wandered off because he's a ginger cat. He's going to go and cause some trouble with the Christmas tree now.
Uh-oh.
So I leave.
Leave the Christmas tree alone.
Well, you put that up for them, right? So
it's a traditional thing that he tries to climb inside the branch. He's knocking the balls off.
Oi, nothing.
No.
Get down. Get down.
Come in.
So there's quite a few folks watching, and we have our first question.
Comes over.
Sorry.
Nothing like a cat
Cats keep you lively, right? So, one of our people who are watching has done a little bit of research and read a lot of books and seen some videos, and they have a question. They want to know how Hob is doing.
How Bobby's doing? Bob's doing very, very well. In fact, I'll bring him down
Oh,
because he likes company.
Our ginger cat I was just talking to, the ginger cat I was just talking to, when he met Hob, he was terrified of him. And here's Hob. There he is.
oh gosh,
doing
he's
very,
big.
very well. There he is.
Well,
Yes,
there
he
you
is.
go, Sean. That's
He's
how
looking
Hob
forward
is
to
doing.
Christmas. He always gets a Christmas. Yep.
If you watch him carefully, interesting things happen.
He likes boys. He likes pretty gay boys. Boyfriend, and he went, that damn thing winked at me. I said, yeah, he only winks at people he really loves. His secret
That's awesome.
is in here. He will never open it. Whatever Doreen Valiente put in there is entirely up to her. There's probably maybe bits of her blood, bits of her nails, something written in there in one of the magical languages, possibly Malachim, I'm not sure. But we have taken charge of Hob, and he's part of the family now. First time I ever saw him, he winked at me, and Doreen just looked at me. She goes, oh, Hob winked at you. He likes you. And that's why he came, isn't it, darling?
That's awesome.
I'm not sure if Doreen knows what she was doing when she was
God, he's got a spider.
He's got a spider now.
A little spider. He's got a pet.
So-
A spider.
Because in Afro-Caribbean diaspora religions, one of the things they create is an arbiori for protection, which is created out of a coconut gourd. And they would do exactly this. Whether she'd read a book on Afro-Caribbean practices or not, I don't know. But that's really what he is. And
She
he's
found
alive.
him by accident.
He's
She was
alive.
walking past an antique shop and she felt something here is calling me. She walked inside and there, lying in the corner, abandoned, was Hob. And she bought him, took him home, cleaned him up, which reminds me he needs a dust, cleaned him up, put the magical spell inside him, tied him with this red cord, and he was her familiar.
And what he originally was basically merchant seamen would take these coconut boards, they'd cut it like this, and they'd use it for keeping tobacco in. And that's what he was used for. So I'm going to put him just over here so he can watch what's going on.
There you go, Hob. Let's turn him around so you can see what's happening. There you are, darling.
That's awesome. I love the
We love
story. I love his face too. Like he really does look like he's going to wink. You know.
So when you guys go out, do you leave him in charge, or is that
yes.
danger?
He guards your house now, right?
She always used to say, Hob's in charge. Yeah,
love
he
it.
guards our house, but the cats also sort of, it's like a war. Well, there's a war between him and the cats. Okay, so I'm in charge. No, I'm in charge, says Hob. No, I'm in charge, say the cats. So there's this sort of conflict of opinion.
How perfect. I love it. I love it.
Gosh, we are so blessed to have you guys here with us today. Today is our 100th episode.
It is.
So what an honor to have the two of you share it with us. I know you said that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I know that you have said that you've had a pretty rough week, and I know things have been pretty heavy for a lot of people for a while now. And you had started to say that community is going to be really, really important before we came online. And it's one of the conversations that we'd been having recently with, yeah. So what would you
Incredibly.
suggest?
I mean, it's not just about right. It's not just about unifying the pagan community at the moment. If you aren't reaching out already, people have got to reach out to non-Christian religious groups out there, ecumenical groups, because at the moment, I know it sounds paranoid. We might be over worrying, but it's incredibly important you link up with groups who may be threatened, because the current climate is that once the new president becomes in the White House, because of his links with the evangelical right, this might actually stir them to actually violence against religious groupings. So this is incredibly important at the moment.
Yeah, I think people just need to not be frightened, but to be prepared and aware, you know?
Yeah, fear's a double-edged sword, isn't it? You know, we should be absolutely aware.
There's the old saying, hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
You shouldn't run around clucking like chickens. And I will say one thing to some of the people out there, the younger people, don't run around clucking like chickens. And also, and this is not against the community in Salem, running around in black robes and cloaks do not help our cause in this situation. People need to see us looking exactly the way we are now, the way you are now, wearing ordinary everyday clothes. And not looking like a freak show or something unusual. They need to see us as representatives of basically our religion, in the sense that we can wear those robes for ritual occasions, etc. But if we're addressing people, we need to stand up and look like ordinary people in the streets, the kind of people that your child could come up to if they needed help. The children are not going to run up to people who look different and strange. They're going to look to people who they feel secure with. So we need to walk into that path as people. Whether it's a cuddly teddy bear like you are, darling, because you are a cuddly teddy bear, or, you know, a lovely lady like you. Something that children feel safe with in this day and age, because it is going to get a little crazy.
I know. We try really hard.
As I said, there's nothing against the
we do try really hard to be a place of safety for people, even if they aren't Wiccan, but like you said, non-Christian. And I do think that you're right in the fact that there is this kind of divide, and they've tried to build fear. And if we do take things more seriously, it is important to look like a proper member of a community and not, you know, like you said, some headless chicken that's running around, you know, spritzing glitter on people or something.
We're very privileged.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. We're very privileged where we are in New Paltz. It's probably one of the most inclusive towns, I think, in all of New York, and New York is probably one of the most inclusive states in all of the United States.
New Paltz was the first place that had gay marriage, and it still wasn't legal. But our mayor actually just married 10 couples just prior to that going into law. Can you still hear us?
We can see you fine. Keep going. You're doing great. So hopefully you can hear what we're asking. So what advice would you have to people who feel perhaps a little isolated? Because we're aware some of the people who watch us are not in, you know, immediate striking distance of us. What advice would you offer them, you know, somebody who's perhaps a solitary practitioner and doesn't have a community?
Well, you know, you have to think broader. I mean, one of the things I've noticed is the amount of pagans who were in that position who reached out to the Unitarians, and has worked very well. So you come across Covenant Unitarian Universalist pagans. So that's one way of doing it. If there's Unitarians in your area, if there's Spiritualist Church in your area, they tend to be quite open. So that is one of the easiest ways to look beyond that label pagan or witch. So people, you're going to have something. Doesn't mean you're not going to stop practicing what you're practicing or being what you are. But there are groups of people to think about linking with in your areas. Even the Hindu community, because we've got a wonderful story about that. We ended up, I think it was the first time I was in the States, or second time I was in the States, going with Janet and Stewart. We went to Sacramento. And we were invited to the Durga Puja at a Hindu temple. And the reason that occurred is this young man had moved to the area. He couldn't find a Hindu community. Sorry, he couldn't find a pagan community. So he started going to the Hindu temple. Ended up being a priest there in the end. That's how we ended up there. So the whole of the pagan community with us went down to the Durga Puja, which was put on for us. So you can reach out to other similar groups to yourself to make links with. And you will find, if you're a solitary, and I mean a solitary not by choice, that there are other people out there if you look around. You just got to be very careful and very selective with who you're dealing with.
There's a lovely guy in England, Mark Townsend. He is a Christian priest, but he's also a druid, pagan, etc. And he's wonderful because he celebrates the festivals, the solstices, the equinoxes, but his deity is still Christ. Rock on, fair play to him. That's the way he works. He's got a shrine in his back garden where he's built a little chapel. And you can go in there and, you can have your meditation, etc. And at the same time, later on in the evening, we'll say, right, who's for cocktails?
He wants to see some magic tricks because he's actually a stage magician as well.
Oh.
So occasionally he'll dress up in his priest garbs and start levitating somebody or something. It's quite fun.
I love it. And he's your local what minister, or what, is he local to you or no?
No, Sacramento.
Oh, that was in Sacramento.
He's a friend of ours we know from England.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, now, Janet, you said...
Confused.
Oh, sorry. You said rock on. Rock on. Don't you have some interesting connection to David Bowie?
I was in a bookshop in London and we were going to sign a book, and it was The Witch's God. And when we arrived, we always used to have like a reception there, laying out some wine and cookies and what have you, and cheese and bickies. And on that particular day, the publisher contacted him and said, I need you to come over because you've got a contract to sign. So I said, well, look, I'll stay here at the shop. You nip over and come back again. So I'm standing in the shop now.
Oh.
Hopefully the audio comes back. Oh dear.
Oh man, the audio is dumped.
We lost your audio.
We lost your audio.
I'm standing in the shop and hopefully it'll come back. We're just going to fill in until we see you starting to speak again. It's probably just one of those things. The intertubes, they are what they are, sadly. We do what we can. Perhaps your story was censored. Who knows? But we definitely don't have any audio right now, which is a bit of a bugger. So how's your sign language? Can you sign? I don't know. Oh dear, this is annoying. Oh bless. What are we doing?
Can you still hear us? Can you hear us?
Thumbs up if you can hear us.
Can you hear us? Yes. Oh,
Okay.
God, we can't hear you at all.
We've lost your audio at this point, so...
we can't hear you at
we
all.
can see you, but we can't hear you, and I can't fix that. So
Everybody's saying, I want the dirty details. She'll have to tell the story
well,
again.
we'll get there. We'll get back. It's just a temporary glitch, I'm sure. I mean, we can try disconnecting and reconnecting if you want, but I think you should be all right. It says it's got a perfect stream.
But
Just
we're not
maybe
hearing anything.
Just turn your mic on and off again or something. Maybe that'll make a difference if you can do that. If you can go to your audio settings. It's just a little bit annoying, I know. And I know there's a phenomenal lag here is the problem as well. And we'll see. We'll see when you start speaking if the green... Oh, there you go. We got your audio.
Okay.
Thank you.
All
Brilliant.
right, awesome.
I was stood at the shop by myself.
Right, and
David Bowie. Back to David Bowie. Anyway, I'm in the shop by myself. Stuart's gone off to the publisher to sign a contract. In walks this nice young man, walks around, sees that the witch's god is there, and he went, oh, there's a book signing at midday. I've got to see an agent at that time. I'm not going to be able to get my book signed. Ah, damn. And the woman said, well, Janet's here. She'll sign it for you. So I said, yeah, I'll sign it. So he came over and he said, would you sign this for me, all starry-eyed? I said, yes, of course. Who do I make it out to? Old klutz. And he went, Fred. To Fred, love Janet Farrar. I got a huge smacker of a kick on the cheek. And after he toddles with the... And the girl said, oh, Janet, you are a plonker. I said, why, don't you realise who that was? That was David Bowie. It doesn't end there, because when Stewart came back, he did the book signing, and he took me into Soho to his favourite pub, because he used to work in Soho. And I went up to the bar to get Stewart his whiskey. He always liked his whiskey. And I was standing at the bar, and this lovely young man turned around quickly and knocked the whiskey flying. I got two in one day, David Bowie and the person who knocked the whiskey flying. He apologised to me, gave me a kiss on the other cheek, and bought Stewart a big double whiskey and got me one as well. And this is where Stewart was priceless, because bless his heart, he knew nothing about rock music. I went back all starry-eyed, and he said, what's that? And I went, that's Queen! That's Freddie Mercury! And he went, who? He's not the Queen, Janet, for God's sake.
Oh, my goddess.
Two in one day.
I love her. I love her.
I'm happily. Things like that all... I spent my entire life being a happening. I got a raw steak thrown on my face by George Harrison because I had a black eye.
Well, I know that
That's how
this
I
is
got to know, the guys from Apple. I went to the Yellow Submarine premiere.
Oh no, we've lost your video.
Oh boy.
Now we can hear you though.
There you go. Isn't it wild that David Bowie had you sign it to Fred, and then you met Freddie Mercury? That's an interesting coincidence of things.
Yes.
And yes, I know we had seen a long time ago some pictures of you at the Beatles Apple shop.
And can you just toggle your audio again, because we've lost your audio now.
Oh my God.
I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. It's just, I guess where you are in the wilds of the back of beyond in Ireland, your intertubes may be a little dodgy. I don't know. Hopefully, we still got no audio. I'm sorry, guys. No audio. We can't hear you. No ears. I'm sorry. We would love. If you can turn it off and turn it on again, that usually works, doesn't it? Computer tech. Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again? That usually works. And we'll see if it springs back. There we go. Well, you're going to have to do the rest of the show in interpretive dance.
Interpretive dance.
Interpretive dance. That would be really good.
I don't know what I just said.
Oh, Guys, I'm so sorry,
Oh,
but
goodness.
these things are sent to challengers, aren't they? I mean, if we were like a professional outfit, we'd have sent a satellite truck, but, you know, we don't have one of them.
I
so-
know, people are so excited too. They're like, oh,
What's
that's such an
going on?
awesome
What's going
story.
on?"
Oh my God.
Oh, well, we'll just keep... I can see when your audio comes back, because we have the little audio meters on my little thing here, but I'm seeing you've got nice perfect stream. It says you've got a perfect stream, and you're streaming to us at 5 point whatever megabits a second, which is pretty good. But your
we
audio
can't hear
is
them
just
nonetheless.
your audio is just meh. It's not audioing at all. It says we have no audio. You are silenced, which is not something you want to do to Gavin and Janet ever. It doesn't work out well if you try and silence them, I found. So, oh, come on, guys. Give us a break. Let's make it work.
Well, I'm answering questions about their.
Oh,
I
God.
heard something.
There you go. Oh, we had it now. Gotcha. Yeah, I see a little crackle. I see a
You
crackle.
anything?
Yes.
Yay!
Yes.
Let's try that.
It's working. Keep talking.
You got us?
Yeah.
Yep. We got you
Can
now.
you hear me?
Jen. That's better.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
It's like a ruddy seance, isn't it? Can you hear me now?
Yes, you got us.
Yeah.
You can tell the bandwidth is really weird.
I know. That's the only trouble in it. I don't know if they could plug the computer directly into the router rather than using Wi-Fi, maybe. But
I don't know.
Oh, there you go. We got him.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Yeah, it's
Hello.
probably over the. Yeah, it's probably weather over the Atlantic.
Okay. Lovely bit for you. Talking to people I met. It was a lovely sunny morning and there was a mist over London. Down at the Apple
Get that.
Boutique and out of the mist comes this man over 6 foot tall. I looked up and went, fuck me, it's Dracula. Christopher Lee, the actor who played Dracula a lot, came out of the mist. I went, fuck me, it's Dracula. He grinned at me and I froze on the spot. So I can say I've actually
Yeah, his agent's office was just around the corner.
Oh, that's funny. And I think we missed the story about being punched by George Harrison.
No, I wasn't punched. He stuck a stake on my eye because my boss, who was a nasty piece of goods, I was too young to understand the war of Scottish clans. He was a MacDonald and I bought him a can of Campbell's soup. The two clans do not meet. He was so furious, he threw it at me, it punched my eye, and I got a black eye. My friend worked round the corner, and I knew, I went round there looking for help because I couldn't see what I was doing. And the next day, I'm sitting in this office with this nice young man who's putting a stake on it, and that was George Harrison. And the rest, as they say, is history.
I love that.
I went to the Yellow Submarine premiere. Always had slight problems with Paul McCartney. I wouldn't now, but I did back then because he scared the hell out of me. So did John Lennon, by the way. I adored John. Oh my God, don't step out of line with Lennon. No way, Jose. If you're young and innocent looking, you're going to get a slap round the head if you misbehave. So, that was John. Ringo was very amiable. Whatever.
Oh my goodness.
I'd go into the offices and they'd be drinking whiskey in the morning and smoking dope. And I didn't, and this world kind of, oh my God, crazy. That's why they go crazy.
Getting
But,
on their
I've
creative
still got the
vibe.
photos and everything, and I look back on it and I go, what a life. What a world.
Yes,
What a life.
absolutely.
We're so sorry, Uncle Albert, but we haven't done a bloody thing all day.
Well, to be honest, the thing that's brought me away from that world was the craft, because I was still working in show business when a friend of mine, I was actually working as a receptionist for one of the record companies, phoned me up and said she wanted to meet this guy who was a witch. That was Alexander's. And, he's the king of the witches. By the way, he's not and never has been my king of the witches. And I'm not an Alexandrian, was, but not now. I'm just a witch. And anyway, I didn't know anything about it. And I thought, I've got to meet this guy. And I had no idea what witchcraft was about. I went to get her away from it because I thought they're all bloody nuts. And then they said, Alex said to me, we're making an LP of witchcraft called A Witch is Born. How would you like to be part of the record? And I went, okay, no problem. I worked in the music industry. And he said, well, we need some photographs taken. Well, that's fine. So I went down to his dingy little flat in Notting Hill basement, and it was all lined up for the photographs. And that's where I first met Stewart Farrar. And Alex said, right, you're the initiate. Janet, take your clothes off. What? You've got to be naked. What? Okay, whatever. Like the craft was something. I wanted it. And if that meant taking my clothes off, I'd take my bloody clothes off. The only problem was I had to go home that night to my poor father. I walked in the door. My father, little guy, only 5 foot tall, was reading a newspaper like this. And I said, hi, Dad, I'm home. I went and met those two people. That's nice. I think I better tell you something, Daddy. What's that? Well, I'm going to be on a cover of a record, and part of the record cover. That's nice, Daddy. I think I better tell you something, Dad. I'm naked on it. Down comes the newspaper.
Oops.
That's nice.
Well, that's nice, dear.
Now,
basically, and I mean, I had no idea that Stewart and I were going to become two of the most famous witches. We had no idea.
Well, you've made an absolutely huge contribution to the craft.
To be honest, if somebody said to me today, would you do it again? I wouldn't recommend any young person doing that, though. I would want to sit them down and tell them the pros and cons, because it's tough. It is tough. And as you get older, it's not so bad. But when you're young, everybody wants to see your tits. Everybody wants to see you with no clothes on. Everybody wants a bit of the naked body. And in the end, it's, you may find it funny, it's actually traumatizing. It is really traumatizing. When the press demand naked photographs, when the press sneak up naked
that
photographs.
That was the gutter press back in the UK.
Awful.
At that time. The News of the World, The Sun, that's what they were like.
I appeared on the front of a local news or big newspaper, international newspaper, called the News of the World, which appeared in our little village. And there I am on the front page. What does it say? Naked Queen of Sex Cult. And there I am, stark naked, in a tiny village. I nearly died 1,000 deaths.
So some years back, we decided that was coming to an end. And so we decided we weren't going to do any fake rituals for the media. And the first person who turned up on the doorstep was a man called Bazashwani.
Oh, he was lovely.
Who was doing a series called Culture Clash. So we did this rule with the director, producer, Ollie, and we said, look, you'll do it our way or you won't do it at all. Now, he's actually half Irish, half Egyptian.
He's a well-known RTE, Irish television producer. Lovely man.
So what we did was basically did a ritual for him to introduce him to his initiates. And the moment he came through the door, we just had fun with him.
We introduced him to the old gods of Egypt. And at the end, we brought him in front of Isis and we asked him, do you love your mother? And he adores his mother. And so, it was a whole process of
It got quite moving.
We ended up in tears.
We decided, and basically the camera crew, I told them, right, you'll go where I put you.
Right.
Because I'm not having you tripping over and upsetting the ritual. But what is, I really wasn't expecting it. I decided I'd actually put him into trance for it, take him down to the underworld, and I wasn't expecting him to drop like a brick, which is what happened.
And some of the Irish witches said, "Oh, that's not witchcraft."
He came out,
What?
and the last thing, he actually broke down in tears at the end, which is how we did it.
And
he wasn't expecting to be in a ritual that night, and actually he rushed outside, and the camera's still on him.
So he has this documented.
The camera's still on him, and he's with his producer going, and he's fingers. Yeah, it was a show called Culture Clash, but I can't find it now. It was on YouTube.
All right.
And he's running his finger at the producer. This wasn't the agreement. So he literally got thrown into it.
So
it was Baz's, B-A-Z, Culture Clash.
Baz's Culture Clash.
Bazashwani's Culture Clash. All right.
So
there's a couple of questions here. Somebody wants to know, who do you guys honor as your favorite deities to work with, or where would you suggest choosing a pantheon? I guess that goes to. And then someone else is saying, what?
Okay.
Freya.
All right. So Freya is Janet's go-to goddess.
And Gavin's.
Before we met.
She brought us together.
That's how we got together.
How cool is that?
So we do what's called deity-centered witchcraft, which in deity-centered witchcraft, focus on the deity, and your ritual practice comes from that, not the other way around. So you may have a group where the people are working with different deities and you agree on a specific format for ritual and ceremony, but your personal work is with deity. Will be the ceremonies and rituals related to that deity.
In this house, it's known as the House of 100 Gods, because I've got gods here for everybody. I've got the Greek, the Roman, the Egyptian, and even a lovely altar for the cats.
Would you like to have a look?
Would you like to see the house?
Are we going on a tour? I'm going to put you full screen so folks can see.
Let us show you the altar
hold
to
on.
the goddess.
Oh my goodness, look.
Oh, there's a few deities there.
It's like done manifesting. It's amazing. We get the two. Oh goodness gracious me! Look at that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's a lot going on there. Wow. Feel that energy.
Oh, yeah.
The energy actually is transmitting. There's Freya.
Christmas tree.
Hold
Whoa.
on the bashed, Freya.
Okay, so we've got cats. So this isn't our shrine. This is Cat's shrine.
Completely there, Freya. They have a Freya there. The little brown statue is the...
Whoa. Now, Anton will remember this.
Will I?
Okay, Anton.
That is me. Go on.
You remember Trumpton and Campbellwick?
I do.
You're my age group, so do you remember Trumpton and Campbellwick Green?
I do. Pew pew,
Okay,
Barney
then you love
McGrew,
this.
Cuthbert, Dibble and Grub. Is that Windy
And Janet
Miller?
and Gavin.
Janet and Gavin is like Windy Miller and
No,
they.
this was by an initiate in Italy, and she was called the Chicken Woman because she made these little chickens out of that resin material. And let me get this lined up. So she brought this box out, and everybody in the coven in Italy said, "We've got a present for you. So thank you for the work you've done." And they carefully bring it out, and they said, "We're a bit worried. I hope you don't take offence." And they pulled it out, pulled off the bubble wrap, and there I looked at it, and I started cracking up with laughter. So I said, "Oh my God, Janet and Gavin, Paul, Camberwick, Green, Trumpton, and Chigley." So it's basically favourite representations. I'm sure that's going to be lost on a lot of Americans, but look the places up.
We have one,
and I just had this vision of that musical box, and I was rising out of it.
ideal. That's perfect. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh yeah, no, I remember all of that. Camberwick Green and Trumpton Fire Station, yes. And I think at least one of our viewers is a little bit of an Anglophile, and I think he'll probably know it. Do you know Camberwick Green, Sean? Have you ever come across it? I'm sure he's still watching it somewhere, but I don't know. That's cute. That's a great statue.
That is.
I don't know.
And you guys have your own
beautiful.
tradition now, right? Didn't you guys wrote a book called Progressive Wicca? Not a religion. Okay.
Not a tradition.
Progressive witchcraft. Now, very important. No, not a tradition. Very important, not a tradition. I mean, it says very clearly in the introduction, not a tradition.
Okay.
It's a mode of practice. So you could be from any...
I think they're frozen.
Yeah.
No, we're good. Keep going.
You can be from any tradition and practice in this way. And that is not allowing witchcraft to become dogmatic. Realizing it's by very nature, it's culturally governed by cultural evolution. Witchcraft by nature changes and evolves over time. It doesn't stay the same. So witchcraft has always been a case of if it works, use it. Adopting things from other cultures around it, because ultimately all magic is about results. It doesn't matter where the magic comes from, it's about getting the result. And as I mentioned regarding the healing book earlier, it all originates originally in healing, being it physical healing, social healing, mental psychological healing, etc.
There have been too many grand high poobahs in
That's
the
the only thing
craft.
about it.
I'm a high priestess. I'm a high priest. I'm this, I'm that, and the other.
So,
No, you're not a bloody human being. Wake up and smell the roses.
So progressive witchcraft was also a way of getting around that problem that we developed. That period of Sanders, Gardner, basically has gone. The cult of personality, that's gone now, and it should die. It was necessary in the beginning to get things kick-started, absolutely necessary. There's a man called Fred Lamont who points that out in his book, 50 Years of Wicca. And he says the reason Gardner and Sanders and those characters were around and why they were so very flawed was because you needed those flaws. You needed that ego to push through everything socially at that time. But we don't need it now. He said that's why the goddess chose them. And the other thing is that we wouldn't put them on pedestals, which of course didn't quite work. People did.
Right.
But if you go back into Gardner and Sanders and you look at the things they got up to, if they turned up nowadays into the pagan community, the word would go around, for God's sake, don't let them near the craft. That's what would happen.
And do you know one of the things that Gavin works on? Do you know why witchcraft has re-risen? There's a reason why witchcraft has re-risen. Tell them.
Yes, it has to have a purpose. We're all here doing this for a purpose. And you can track it back. Right? You had the whole occult revival occur in the 19th century. Then it really begins to kickstart in the 1920s after the First World War. But what really happens is 1945. You notice the whole witchcraft movement, social change, particularly in the UK, kicks off. And it's the bomb.
The atomic bomb.
It's the hydrogen bomb. And people go, what has that got to do with it? And what it was, I was reading from some notes of Alexander's, and he talks about suddenly, well, what kicked up suddenly when the first bomb was dropped, all these demons were released. But you treat that as an analogy. The moment we reached that stage of evolution was the stage where the planet was threatened. And that's when you see people looking, going, mainstream religion has failed. And you can see from that point, witchcraft, earth-based religion become important because we're then capable of destroying the planet. So witchcraft by its nature must be focusing on that. We must be focusing on what is happening with our environment as well. That's one of the other messages we like to try and get across. We're here, we're not here to be a group of people being priests and priestesses of each other. We've got to interact with a bigger community. We mustn't be isolated. The other thing is, if you're out there and talking to people and being human beings, then it's a case of, oh, they may be witches, but they're all right.
Yes.
Which kind of goes
This is
back
what we
to
found
what
in
I was
Ireland.
saying earlier.
It's what
About
we found
wearing
in
the
Ireland.
robes and everything else.
Yeah.
You know,
This is what we
people
found in
need
Ireland.
to react with us, not be put off by us.
Witchcraft is about service.
Absolutely.
Service to the deity, service to mankind, service to the planet. All
Absolutely.
three.
Completely, totally,
Not about
totally.
self-service, which is what you see.
Exactly. Exactly.
No, but I'm an advocate, though, for some sort of structure, meaning that there has to be some sort of education or knowledge
Oh,
given,
absolutely.
you know, but I'm not like saying there has to be this grand poobah of Wicca,
Yes.
but I'm saying, like, you know, if you're
Yes,
going to
but
use the
that-
four elements, you
that's
might want to
everything
know
that's
what they
changed.
are. Yeah.
Yeah, we Lisa and I just describe ourselves as nothing more than hokey tour guides, and basically that's it. It's your journey,
Yeah, that's fair
but
enough.
it comes with a
Agreed.
great deal of
It's-
responsibility, you know.
It's the other thing about
Oh, we still got them.
Yeah.
Oh, we
Yes.
do.
Okay.
It's the other
We
thing
still got
about it's realizing that all these traditions are systems.
Mm-hmm.
Like all magical traditions are systems, and any system which has integrity will work, which is what progressive witchcraft talks about as well. So that basically you can have these systems as long as they've got integrity in the way they work, they're fine. It doesn't matter whether they can be traced back several thousand years or got made up by somebody. You see that with some traditions like Church of All Worlds, which basically is based on a science fiction book. But it works. It's based on Strange World. But it works for them because the system has a certain level of integrity to themselves. And the system they use is almost like an onion system of levels of degrees they have within it. So that's what you really need. It doesn't matter where your origins are, or the origins of your tradition. It's about whether you are able to practice, you're doing it for the right reasons, and if you're doing it for the right reasons, you're going to learn from other people and from experience. We're strong believers in experience.
Absolutely. We tell people that they can read as many books as they want, but then they're having the author's experience. They need to use the information to build their own experiences. Oh.
Yes.
This
We sort of
satellite
dived
delay is doing.
headlong into trance work, trance prophecy and possession work.
I love
I
that.
know.
It's satellite delay. It's like we should do
So-
semaphore or something, but it's all good. You guys are doing great, and we're loving the font of information and wealth of experience that you're able to bring, and it's so lovely. It's so lovely to think that you know, you are real people, and we've had the joy of meeting you both on a couple of 3 occasions, and you are, you know, genuine people, and I love the fact that you sort of instinctively kick against the idea of putting things on a pedestal, you know.
I think there was some margaritas involved, wasn't there?
A little bit of margaritas, yes.
There were margaritas involved.
There were margaritas involved, I know.
There's your toad on a pedestal. So was this was one of those
Toad on a pedestal. So
self.
I mean, we're sort of reaching the end.
So who's that was turned into a toad then?
I'll explain about the toad on the pedestal, shall I? So, I go with Janet and Stewart to. Well, first of all, I go with Janet to the States of '92, and we do a talk at Boston University, at MIT actually, in this auditorium. And Janet stands up and says, "I'm going to teach you a very important English word of power now. I want you to repeat it after me."
Anglo-Saxon
word of power. And she tells them, "Repeat after me. Fuck!" At which point everybody goes, "Fuck!" Louder, "Fuck!" Because it was about breaking image that they built up. So everywhere we went, everybody, literally, we could have become pagan messiahs. We could have ripped people off money-wise, set up a cult. It would have been so easy.
Damn, missed it.
Damn it. Damn this integrity. It gets in the way of being wealthy. So we jump off the pedestal all the time. And Janet made a point of it. If you put me on a pedestal, I'm going to jump off. I'm fart.
One place we went to, I can't remember where it was. We arrived on site and they go, "Oh God, it's Janet Farrar, all bow to the east, all bow to the east." It had been raining. "Oh wow, there's a big puddle on the ground." Janet throws herself into it and gets covered in mud. And they just looked at me in horror.
So we go
and
to
I'm
this.
Going, "Yeah, whoopee."
We go to this festival, and we've been there before. And in the middle of dinner, these people march in wearing these black robes with fluorescent stripes and checks and triangles, and announce that they're the Electric Eclectic Eleusinian Coven. And they're making us honorary members. We're presented with these robes. Stuart wore that robe for the rest of his life, actually, every time he did ritual. And they present to Janet this toad on a pedestal. Because they love Janet so much, they were just going to put her on a little pedestal like, and that's where he comes from. So just so everyone can see.
Where's my toady?
The eclectic.
Which is where we get sort of, we take what we do seriously.
Electric, eclectic,
Eleusinian Coven.
Eleusinian Coven. Eek! Hail Eris, hail Discordia. We're Discordians.
Love it.
Oh man.
Okay, so
I've got to admit, I think there's a large part of that in me. We've actually got a statue of Eris here in the house because, as far as I'm concerned, she's more than bloody well. She's even got the apple in her hand. Okie dokie, girl, roll your apple.
So where are we at? Ooh, questions. One last question, I suppose. We're getting there.
We have one more question, and we're very close to time. One of our young people, he's early 20s, says, "Would you say that magic itself becomes what it needs to be for the time then? Like currently, the magic might shift to help with a positive change or healing prejudices within society?"
Good question.
Yes.
There you go.
And
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
They ask
That young man's going to go a long way.
That's what you would call.
Very proud of him.
That's one of the things we found with younger generation coming in. They don't know that they can't walk on water. They're way ahead of us when we came in. It's quite amazing with the younger people
And they're
coming in
not
now.
afraid to turn around and go,
So, yes. There's
Or,
basically,
excuse me.
they used to say there's high magic and low magic, but really it gets down to is the low magic is the simple stuff you're doing for people when they need a job and stuff like that, healing. And then there's the high magic side, which is really what used to be called the great work. And what you're talking about here, this young man, is what's referred to as the great work, which is causing basically major changes in the world, pushing human evolution forward. And that is really what everybody eventually ends up focusing on when they come into any form of magic. We start with the small stuff and build it up. We begin to get into this large stuff.
One thing I do want to say, and I want to say it to young people like that guy, I am nearly 75 now, and I've seen many changes. And, you know, I hope to make 85, 95, I don't know. But young people like him are the future of the craft. And I want to say to him, I'm very proud of people like you. Keep fighting, keep rocking, darling.
It's what we need to do at the moment.
Yeah. In other words, if I personally, let alone Gavin, have made any influence on your life, then rock it, work it. This planet needs you. And I wish I was 20 again, I was doing it with you. So love to you. And by the way, if you want to look us up on the website, say your name, say where you came, part of it, you're more than welcome.
We're on Facebook.
We're on Facebook.
Look for Gavin Bone.
And say who you are to us on Facebook to remind us, okay?
Well, he's a lovely young guy. His name is Logan. His name is Logan.
Right.
He's
magic
a young.
Is...
Yeah. Go Logan. Okay. I imagine he's crying right now because that was really, really important.
Magic is about.
He's crying.
Magic is an art form.
Nah. Auntie Janet are going to cry. You join us on Facebook.
Magic is an art form. Some people are sculptors. Some people do their art through sculpture. Some are painters. And the painters, some use brushes. They use different styles. That's all magical traditions are and the types of magic. How you do your magic is really depending on what sort of artist you are.
Yeah.
Whether you sculpt, whether you paint. It's like that. There are different ways. It's where your skill, your natural skill is. You use your natural skills. Some people are healers. Some people are diviners. One isn't better than the other. It's just that different people have different specific skills, and you work on that specific skill. It's good to have a base, but in the end, you go with your strengths with magic. If you find you work Celtic better than Egyptian, then you work with Celtic magic. If you find that is what triggers you, triggers the energy, because all magic is energy. Basic physics.
And a word to people like Logan, work the magic, but never take yourself over seriously. Otherwise, I will knock you off your pedestal.
Magic is about the purpose, why you're doing it. Always remember that.
Yeah. Love you so much.
Oh, we love you more. Listen, that is such beautiful advice. It really is. We are so privileged to have you guys on the show.
Welcome.
Thank you.
To give you a big hug.
That would be lovely. Well, you know.
Savannah says, "Wow, this was absolutely amazing. For us, it's like meeting Freddie and Fred."
I'm just so sorry the cats didn't make an appearance.
Oh, don't worry.
Right. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys
Janet,
so very,
Janet has
very
a thing
much.
for palace cats.
Yeah.
Talking to you again.
Thank you.
It's a joy, and we'll let you know who to do the book.
You might decide that it's safe to have us back on at some point.
Oh yes.
Oh,
I think so.
Anytime. Seriously, we'd be honoured and delighted to have you.
Have a lovely meal.
Yes. Have a happy
the
holiday.
check goes.
Have a happy holiday. Thank you again so very much. Love you guys.
Thank you. We love you.
I have I have a little request for both of you.
Yes.
If you light any candle, listen,
Yes,
darling, before you go, request for you if you have any candles, whether artificial or not, light one for Maggie. She's our
Maggie.
80-year-old friend. You know, although she's bright and perky, she needs a lot of love. Her name's Maggie, Magie.
Consider it done. Maggie will have many candles lit for
Thanks.
her, and we'll pop her in our healing bowl in the store. Thank you so much. You have to do your bit.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and watching. Thank you for the great questions. Stay safe, everyone. Peace.
We need
And
love for all levels.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Peace and love, darling.
Peace and love.
Yes, you will.
All right, we're off air. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, my
that
goodness.
was
That was
fantastic.
lovely.